I will give a brief account of the battalion to which I am now attached and to which I hope to belong until this cruel war is ended and the nation enjoys once more the blessings of peace. Well, there he's talking about the Union versus the Confederacy. But then the next passage after that, he's on to the battle for respect, for citizenship, for equality within the Union itself. The battalion is composed of as good material and contains as brave hearts as any equal number of men that ever shouldered a musket in this war. We are just as good, we are just as brave as any other soldiers, including the white ones, is what he's saying there. These men have left their own dear homes, their wives and children of their own free will. Why, then, should they not fight? We have made the decision to fight in this war, just as white men have. So if one of the sort of hallmarks of fitness for citizenship is the ability to reason, to exert one's own free will, look, we have done that. Yes, they will fight, as they know full well that this is the golden opportunity that they have given them to establish their manhood and capability as soldiers before the world. Manhood shows up all the time in black soldiers' letters, and it can have one of two meanings. Sometimes it means recognition of the full humanity of all black Americans. In this one, though, he clearly means the adult male identity of black men, because one characteristic of the adult man in 19th century American culture is the ability to take care of a family, the ability to support a wife and children. And it's men who are entitled to full political rights. And he's twice told his readers that we have characteristics of manhood. One is in the moral agency, that we, of our own free will, decided to do something. And two is we have wives and children, we support families. We, therefore, have the attributes of adult males and are entitled to the rights of adult males. So he means manhood in that explicitly gendered way. The next and final paragraph is a very conventional one. This is the sort of thing that shows up in a number of public letters. If it be my lot to fall on the battlefield, I shall be content to die far from home and friends. If my ears are saluted by the shout of our comrades, the battle is over, the stars and stripes wave triumphantly, and the slave is free. This is a letter that is not just telling loved ones how he feels, but is really also fighting this very public campaign for respect for black soldiers and for African Americans in general. He signs it with the name Macy, and this is another challenge of working with black soldiers' letters. They take pseudonyms all the time. I don't know who this soldier is. That could have been a nickname. It could have been his first name. And he, in fact, does give his company and his regiment, but he doesn't sign his whole name. And so positive identification is a lot harder with black soldiers than with white soldiers. I think juxtaposition works pretty well with letters. The Union and Confederate and the white and the black letters really do sound different. Students, I think, generally like reading letters too. They feel like real people. That seems interesting to them. But having them read the letters against each other and just asking them what jumps out to you, what are they talking about, what strikes you, what surprises you, the initial reaction. With these particular letters will work pretty well. If what you want them to talk about is the Emancipation Proclamation, it's all over those first two letters. Another strategy, a sort of teaching assignment might be to imagine the letter in response. You could talk about home front and battlefield using these letters, because you could ask students to imagine how might Jasper Barney's brother-in-law have responded to this letter. Asking them to imagine responses, I think, also makes them really engaged with the questions and the issues that are raised by the letters. There's not a lot of talk of politics in the Union letter, and there's often politics in Union letters. There's not like overt criticism of Jefferson Davis or some aspect of the Confederacy in the Confederate letter, which there often is in Confederate letters. At the time, black soldiers are fighting for equal pay, and you'd expect that to show up, and it doesn't. In February of 1864, that's a hot issue, and it not showing up is a little surprising. That is the drawback to using one letter. Of the letters that went amiss from John White, 12 of them might have talked about something that you would expect, but this letter doesn't. So it's hard sometimes to resist the temptation to think we know everything about him from this one letter. We don't.